Good evening, everybody. Call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Have we had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting?
I have, and I move to accept as printed.
Second
Excuse me.
the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved. We have department heads with us this evening. John Charbonneau, our Planning and Community Development Director. John? Thanks for coming in, John.
Thank you. Just wanted to give the board a
read
quick
it.
update of some things that have been going on and will be going on. Good news is that the building commissioner has decided that the phase one of the Raynham Park, the slot casino project, phase one, the temporary slot part, will not need site plan review approval. The project simply does not trigger any of the thresholds for site plan review. Therefore, they can proceed straight to dealing with the building department for their demolition permits and their building permits. They are not going to require a public hearing for phase one. Subsequent phases, yes, but just for the temporary slot parlor portion, they will not need to go have a public hearing before the planning board, which saves them a good probably 3 months of public hearing and advertising and review, and saves them some time and money at the front end, and is a feather in their cap, I'm sure, with the gaming commission, that now they can go straight for their building permits with the building department. Just a couple of zoning bylaw amendments that are going to be coming forward for Springtown meeting. I know that last fall you had a resident appear before you about beekeeping, and a resident that had been keeping bees that had become a nuisance to neighbors. So I've been working with the Board of Health agent Dave Flaherty on drafting regulations, and we have. And I sent a copy of that to town council, and he's currently reviewing those to make sure that they're consistent with the state statutes, so the Attorney General won't frown on them. Obviously, we're going to be presenting a bylaw to regulate registered marijuana facilities. And I've also been working with the building commissioner on a minor amendment to deal with storage boxes that people have in their yards around their house. So just something that Dennis brought to my attention, and we've worked out a minor revision to go before the Springtown meeting. I've been working for the last 4 or 5 months since I started to reactivate the Route 138 Steering Committee. And we've met 3 or 4 times over the past few months, and we're making progress. Finally, at the last couple meetings, we've reached a consensus on how to proceed. And right now, the discussion is, rather than proceeding with one mixed-use overlay district for the entire corridor from Route 495 down to the city line, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to create one district for the north and south portion that's more commercial-oriented. And we're going to do a second overlay district, a District 2, that's slightly scaled down for the middle part where it's mostly residential. So it's an acknowledgement that this is a complicated corridor. It's not one all type, it's not a business corridor, it's not a residential corridor, it's a mixture of both, and with, bookend commercial areas and a residential area in the middle. So it's going to take a little bit of finessing, but I think we have consensus on a direction. So probably won't be ready for the spring, but probably in the fall, and that's fine. I'd rather get it right and come forward with something that the committee can unanimously support and present to yourself and the planning board. And finally, in reactivating the Board of Overseers for the Raynham Development Fund, I've been preparing by doing a spreadsheet of all parcels that are zoned either business, industrial, light industrial, or designated development, and simply a big spreadsheet that inventories all the properties to see lists, map, parcel, ownership, what's the land square footage, what's the building square footage, is there any vacant property, so we can do an inventory to see how much commercial, how much industrial vacant properties do we have, and that'll help kind of guide the Board of Overseers as we try and prioritize where we want to try and step in and help with economic development. So, and that's it.
Good. Thank you, John. Any questions for John, Mr. Shiver?
Thank you for doing these, too. I know I get them when you send them out. And no, it's really, I appreciate it,
Oh, you're
because it
welcome.
keeps us abreast of what you're doing and what's going on.
And you know what? It's a very simple thing to put together, so it's no trouble at all.
But I thank you very much for
Great.
doing that.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot, John. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. You too.
Jim, you're next. Thanks for coming in, Jim.
All set?
Yes, go ahead.
Just to update the board, we still have one officer out injured on duty, still healing, probably looking at least another month. We have the one vacancy created by the retirement of Sergeant Westcoat, and we're in the process of attempting to hire. The intent is to send a student officer to the academy in Plymouth, which begins March 31st. Pressed for time here, and a lot of variables there, but we're trying. We still have a dispatcher on extended sick leave. The temporary replacement that the board approved has done an excellent job. And we have another officer who will be going out on an extended sick leave in February. That'll extend into the spring. Training. All the officers will begin their in-service training cycle, which runs through April, which is the state mandated stuff, the legal updates, CPR, things like that. Dispatchers have already completed their in-service training for this fiscal year. We try to do the dispatchers in the first half of the fiscal year, and we do the police in the second half of the fiscal year. The two new cruisers, thank goodness we got those. With all the inclement weather we've had, that's been very helpful. Greatly appreciate that. This week, we should be receiving a programmable message board through SERPID, through the Homeland Security Advisory Council. Maybe even tomorrow it'll be delivered. Somebody has to learn how to program the thing, but we can use that, my understanding, for any legitimate government purpose, announcing a meeting, things like that. And just wanted to tell you folks about 2013, the police department did over 14,000 calls. We answered 4,000 911 calls. We booked 620 individuals. 239 were taken into custody. This month, so far in 2014, we've done 919 incidents. So we are busy.
Good. Thanks, Jim. Any questions for the chief?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks for coming in, chief. Appointments tonight, we have one, it's a reappointment for Constable of Edward, I don't have his last name, do you? Mattingly. The chief's approved it. What's the board's pleasure?
Move to accept.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is approved. No other appointments, public hearings, none, new business, tag days. We have the second round of tag days. These are for non-Raynham requests, and there are a ton of them here, so if there's no objection from the board, we'll do them in mass based upon Randy's review of the requested dates and availabilities.
Yes, I think that is a motion.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those are approved. Any other new business, Mr. Shiver?
None.
Mrs. Smith?
None?
Thank
Proud
you.
of both you and your comments last night. I got there just a little bit late, but you both did an excellent job.
Thank you. Appreciate it. No old business, town administrator's report, Mr. Buckner.
For people that can't get to Town Hall during the week, we're selling transfer station permits for the next 2 Saturdays at the Highway Barn, which is right behind the transfer station, during the normal hours that the transfer station is open. So February 1st and February 8th, we'll be selling stickers there at the landfill. Budget process for 2015, budgets are due February 15th. Mass Gaming Commission, now that the public hearing process has been completed, the MGC should be making a decision on the slot parlor license during the first week of March. We have a vacancy on the Board of Overseers, which controls the Raynham Development Fund, which is a economic development fund. There's quite a bit of money built up, and so we're looking for someone who has an interest in economic development to serve on that board. Upcoming next Selectmen's meeting, Mr. Stulte will be in. Monthly meeting, Sausage meeting Wednesday, tomorrow at 9 a.m. in Mansfield, and SMHG board meeting February 7th at 9 a.m. in Easton. And preliminary renewal rates for health insurance is on the agenda.
Thank you, Randy. Any
Okay.
questions for Randy?
No, sir.
None. Selectmen's report, Mr. Shiver. Mrs. Smith?
Good?
I have one quick thing. I just wanted to brief the board. As you know, we've been working on a few abandoned properties in town in terms of getting compliance for various factors, but I believe at this point, for whatever reason, maybe I'm more conscious of them now, but they seem to be popping up more frequently in town. And if the board is okay with it, what I would like to do is have our health agent, Dave Flaherty, be the point person for the town in terms of coordinating a review of abandoned properties in town, making assessments of those abandoned properties, and then coordinating with the appropriate department heads in town to rectify the situations. I think these abandoned properties are not only a place where crimes have occurred and can occur, they're safety hazards for both police and fire as first responders, and of equal importance in terms of economic development. A study was recently done in Philadelphia that said for every abandoned house in a neighborhood, the rest of the homes go down on average of $8,000 in value. And so there's three real significant reasons why I think we have to become a little bit more aggressive on this and take a more proactive approach on it. And so that would be a proposal I have for the board. If you would indulge me to have Dave Flaherty again as a point person for this initiative.
Can I just ask you why you wanted David?
A lot of the issues start with the Board of Health.
Oh, okay.
So I think he's the best point person for it, and then once those issues have either been resolved or recognized, he can.
Well, he will then dictate it to whatever.
Exactly, but I want us to have one department head who's coordinating this effort and
Sounds very
make
good.
sure that Randy notifies all of the department heads to cooperate.
Okay, I'll put that in the form of a motion if
I
that.
Thank you.
definitely will second that motion.
Thank you.
Very
All in
much so.
favor?
Aye.
That is approved. Thank you. Randy, you'll notify the board, department heads. Thank you. Correspondence, very brief tonight. We're notified by First Citizens that they are making available two $1,000 scholarships in honor of Barbara Whitehead Silva. Those scholarships are for children of EMTs, firefighters, teachers, police officers, and healthcare professionals. However, they also have to have champion checking accounts at the bank, so there are a few conditions to it.
A little string there, huh?
Yes. And the final piece of correspondence is from Attorney Dunlop, representing the Raynham Police Patrolmen's Union, requesting the start of negotiations for the collective bargaining agreement. Mrs. Smith, you've handled that, and if you
Yes,
like to continue?
absolutely.
That would be great. We'd appreciate that. Thank you. Randy, you can notify them that Mrs. Smith will head that up for us.
Yep.
Press time, Mark, anything for us?
Just a few questions about some things that were discussed tonight. I guess first, the problem are the abandoned properties that you mentioned. I guess how many abandoned properties have you personally, been seeing lately?
I'd say about 5 or 6 so far, and I mean, again, when you have an opportunity to drive and you're looking for them, I think they become a little bit more noticeable, but it's something that is out there, unfortunately. Part of it, I think, is a sign of the times. Another part of it is we have to recognize this is an older community, and there might be people who own these homes literally hundreds of years ago, and for whatever reason the family, moved on, and so whatever the case might be, we understand that, but at the same time, we do, I feel, have a responsibility to make sure this town is attractive and safe.
When Dave was speaking up here, I was just wondering, he mentioned the Raynham Park not having to go to a building
You mean
commission.
John?
John, I'm sorry. He mentioned that the Raynham Park wouldn't have to go to a building. Is he talking about the Raynham Building Commission? Or,
Yeah. So, but again, Mark, it's just phase one.
Right.
Phase one is the temporary rehab and renovation of the existing premises, where they would operate for about 18 months while phase two is completed, which is the permanent structure. And that's for Raynham building permits. And what that is what John said, is that there's no significant alterations to the premises in terms of wetland encroachments, movement of buildings, expansion to the size of buildings. In fact, actually, some of them will be taken down, so the footprint is going to be smaller. So what you heard was John saying, and the determination was made that based on that presentation, what's called a site plan review does not have to occur.
for phase one.
Yep, for phase one.
Just a postscript to that.
Yeah, please, Mr.
This
Schreiber.
is a very detailed explanation, but I think one of the important points that come from that decision is that it shortens the time that the the casino can start in operation. It really does cut back on, what'd you say, 3 months earlier? or-
Yeah, at
Yeah,
least 3 months
because of
early.
the
Yeah,
public
so
hearings and
that's
things of
important.
that nature.
Yeah. It gives them a real advantage in that regard.
Absolutely.
Just one more thing that he had mentioned was they worked to get this, I guess, 138 quarter committee back together and working, I guess. What is he trying to get prepared for the fall town meeting? Is a new kind of zoning bylaw overlay?
The
kind of-
zoning changes, I mean, right now, it's called spot zoning on 138.
Right.
You have commercial, you have industrial, you have residential, residential A, residential B, so we're trying to clean up that corridor a bit to make it a little bit smoother for everybody utilizing it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, anything else, Mark?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. No emergency business. Citizen and community input, Sarah, anything for us? No? Okay. No other business? What's the board's pleasure?
Move to adjourn, pay the bills with no business to be conducted after.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.